Hello, this is Bella, and welcome back to the Faithful Draft podcast. Today I'm going to be doing Q&A. I asked some of my Instagram followers not too long ago, like to send me questions of like writing stuff or like stuff about me or like anything in between those two things. So yeah, I'm gonna be answering some questions. I'm not gonna say who asked the questions because I didn't ask anybody if that was okay. So I'm just gonna be saying the questions. So let us dive right in. All right, so the first question is what's okay, wait. What's a perfect day look like for you? I feel like, I feel like all the stuff that would make a perfect day for me is really ordinary. Um, I'm very simple, I think. Um, and that's okay. Um, yeah, I would just say like, getting up, spending time with God, like reading the word, like watching a movie or some show I really like or I've been getting into. Um, Seeing friends and family, like having coffee, like race day, Formula One fans out there, like legit, like you know, seeing Carlos Sainz win, that would be great. Yeah, but like I feel like these things are very much incorporated in my life daily, so it's like I feel like a lot of days are good, I guess. Okay, so what's your origin story and how did you get to where you are today? So, I did I feel like I talked about this like in the podcast like with the first few episodes of like how I got into writing and stuff like that, but I'll do like a little recap. Um so I've always been a writer. I think like since I was like a little kid, since I knew how to write, I've been always making stories and stuff like that. But it wasn't until like eighth grade when COVID happened and I had loads of time that I, really committed to being a writer. And then when I got to high school, I went to a tech high school, so it took me a minute. Like I was like doing like all these like different like writing classes or film classes or like doing like workshops outside of school because it was a tech high school, so everything was basically like science or engineering. So it wasn't really for me per se, but I took like we only had like two or three courses I feel like in high school. But anyway, so then when I decided to go to college, I've been taking English courses and writing courses and film courses because my major is technically I'm an English major with a writing minor and a film and television minor. So I'm getting to do like all the things that I really love. Um so yeah, like I guess that's would be my origin story. I don't know. So yeah. Next question. What made you think yes, I want to be a writer? I don't I think I don't know if it was one singular thing. I feel like it was just a series of things. Like when I started writing, I shared it with my parents and they like were like this is really good. Like, you're very creative, you're very talented. But I was just like, "Oh, thank you." I was just like my parents like being supportive of me. I didn't know like if they were just being like, "Oh, that's my daughter." Of course. But, you know, then I showed it to my friends and they were like, "Oh, like this is really good." Or like I showed my classmates and they're like, "Oh, this is pretty good. You can make a career out of this." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Um, but I guess like I think like things that like inspired me is like definitely Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, Lynn Painter, better than the movies, and then I guess for like film, it would have to be Greta Gerwig, and then for TV, Amy Sherman Palladino, the creator of Gilmore Girls. She I'd say the Gilmore Girls thing definitely pushed me to do more writer stuff in general. Especially during COVID, because during COVID is when I discovered Gilmore Girls. So yeah. Um, the next question is, when do you plan on publishing your next book? Ooh. Okay. So I've been working on a book since my senior year of high school. And it's going to be like a central story and it's basically it's like a Christian fiction to an extent, but it's mainly like a college romance book. So I'm not gonna say like too much about it, I guess. Like it's just gonna be one central story. I don't I'm like still editing it. I think I'm like this is the third time I'm editing it. So after that though, I think I'm gonna start like making my like query letter and finding agents and all that kind of stuff because this is a book that I really want to traditionally publish. I feel like this book would be better in a traditional publishing market. Um, and I feel like this is a book that we can all like relate to in a weird way. Um, and yeah, so I don't really have like a timeline of when I'm publishing it. It's just like I think like when I so maybe not Christmas break. I think that Christmas break I'm gonna be doing a lot of like writing and social media stuff that isn't for like a book. Um and focus on that and also resting for like the next semester, and then once we hit summer maybe I'll probably start working on sending stuff to agents and publishers. So yeah. Next question. What did you want to do besides writing? Ooh, this is a good one. um when I was younger I remember wanting to be a meteorologist. Predicting the weather sounded pretty cool at the time, but then I thought I'm not really that good at like science or math, or it's not really my jam. So then I was also like, okay, maybe like I'll be like a therapist or a lawyer. And I was like, this is too much school. I don't really want to be in college for that crazy long or do a graduate program or things like that. Like, I don't plan on doing anything like that. I just want to do 4 years of college and start my career officially. Um, and then I think if I wasn't in college and I had to pick a trade, I thought for a minute like doing mechanics because I'm really into Formula One and I really think cars are the way they're built is fascinating. Like I don't know anything like I can't tell you like the engine goes here or anything like that, but I think I if I would have learned, it would have been really cool um to do that. So, yeah, besides writing, I feel like I could have gone in any of those routes. Um, okay, next question. Do you create outlines before writing? If so, how do you craft those and then follow them? So, um, okay. So I'm not really one of those people who like plans their books. I'm kind of like a writer as you go. Like the most if I'm planning something, the most that I will do is write a short summary. And if I have like ideas for specific scenes, I'll write like a couple of sentences or whatever for those scenes. But after that, I'm not like oh chapter 1 is going to be like this or oh this is plot point 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I'm not like I don't plan anything out like that or make any outlines. I wish I was more organized and I've tried to be more organized. But in the end I have gotten confused. I think making those outlines and also like I've changed my mind so many times and I know like, when you're creating outlines and stuff like that, you can always like switch it. But I like if I plan it out, I really like to be set in what I'm doing. But so planning isn't when it comes to writing, planning isn't for me. But kudos for everybody else who can. I really admire you guys for doing that. But I'm not really much of a planner, unfortunately. But when it comes to writing anyway. All right, next question. What was the inspiration of your writing? Ooh. I feel like I kind of just said this too. Like author wise, it would be Lynn Painter and Jane Austen. I feel like Jane Austen I've kind of read a good chunk of my life. Um Lynn Painter, I recently just discovered her, but like she's also like this rom-commy writer and I feel like like I've achieved that in some way, but also I'm like still trying to like get there because it's like I want y'all to feel the 2000s rom-com feels again. Like we're missing that. Like I'm missing it so much. Like recently I rewatched like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Um with my brother, by the way. I was rewatching it with my brother and he was like, "None of these rom-coms that you watch are like morally right." And I was like, "I know, but like it works out in the end." But it's like, anyway, I feel like also like um for film, I would have to say Greta Gerwig, specifically Little Women era, because after I'd watched that film so many times. First of all, I watched the previous versions of it, and the only ones that I really liked of the previous versions of Little Women were her version, Greta Gerwig, the one with Winona Ryder, and then the Katharine Hepburn version of it, which I think having those three be my favorite versions of Little Women says so much about me. The the current version, 2000, I think it was 2019. The current version of it, the 90s version of it. And then or the 80s version of it. I don't remember if the Winona Ryder was which time. Um that's bad. And then Katharine Hepburn, like the 1930s, 40s version of it. Like that says like my whole aesthetic like right there. Anyway, and then if we're gonna go with TV, I feel like Amy Sherman Palladino is like she's my girl. I love watching like videos of like them talking about Gilmore Girls, her and her husband, and it's like, oh my gosh, it was like each episode was like basically like 80 pages, and we had to like fit it into like a certain amount of time. So we told Lauren Graham to like talk really fast, or like she just did it on her own, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I love that. That's amazing because I talk a lot, as you can see. Like this is a podcast. I talk a lot. So I really like that and I like making really old references that no one understands. But in Gilmore Girls world, everyone understands. So I love that. It's like it's just a fascinating her writing style is great. Because I've read some of the Gilmore Girls like episode scripts and I've also read Greta Gerwig's script for Little Women and like Greta Gerwig's script for Little Women, it was honestly like it changed my mind about writing like about like flashbacks because this woman color coded. I hope it was the original script because if not, that's really messed up if it wasn't. But this girl color coded like she did. I think it was red for past, like the font would be red, and then for present it would be like regular black font. And I feel like oh my, like I don't know why, but that just made like blew my mind. So yeah, I feel like those three, and I guess like I don't want to say this, but it's kind of like this. Jenny Han, she the only thing I claim is To All the Boys series, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, like her doing that because she wrote the books. I haven't read them yet. I don't know if I'm gonna read them, but she did the books and then she did a movie series and then she also did the spin-off series. I think it's called Kitty XO or something like that. Like that's great. The Summer I Turned Pretty, I don't like. I watched it on VidAngel. I didn't really like it because of a multitude of reasons. Like I didn't like any character in that show. Like none of them were good in my eyes. Like they were all terrible people. And they were just all hurting each other. Like oh my gosh. But it was entertaining. It did its job. It was entertainment. But yeah, I'd say only the Tell the Boys I've Loved Before Jenny Han, not the Summer I Turned Pretty Jenny Han. But yeah, I'd say those would be like my inspirations for writing. And I guess a little bit of my own life too, as like a human and also like, my like experiences and whatnot too. Um all right, next question. Do you ever listen to music while you write? If so, what kind? Okay. Um, so like with me, I feel like music with lyrics can be distracting when I'm writing, unless I'm using it for inspiration. Like if I'm trying to capture a specific emotion and I need to listen to a song to make me feel that emotion to write something, which is also like a really rare thing. I feel like I don't really do that much. I'll do that though, but I don't like have I don't really remember what I would use. It's probably like I don't even know. I don't know what music I would listen to for like when I'm trying to capture a specific emotion. I guess it would vary. But if I do listen to music while I write, it's classical music, I feel like. and 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 even when I am writing, I rarely listen to music cuz it can be such a distraction to me. Because like I'm in two different headspaces. I'm like, okay, I really want to get this done. I really want to get my vision out before I forget it, and then it's also like, I really want to have fun and I want to really be in the moment. And I feel like music kind of just takes you out of that sometimes, out of the moment. But like if I am listening to music, it's usually classical music. Um, and I also do that when I'm studying too. It sounds like a really boring answer, but it does actually help me. So yeah. And then we have our last question here. How much do you tend to write at a given time? Word count or pages? So it varies. I'm not like one of those people that like plans like word counts or anything like that. I'm not like, oh, I have to write like 1,000 words today. I'm not really like that. Or I need to write like 5 pages today. Like I feel like when I'm like that, it's like for an assignment most of the time. For school. Mostly because I'm given like guidelines, I feel like. But when it comes to my writing, I try not to put myself limited in a box. Because I know some days whenever I do write, and this is so bad too. I'm a mood writer. Like I have to be in the mood to do it. But like the other thing is too that like I usually am in the mood for writing. So it's like, okay. Um but yeah, it's like it's just how it depends on how I feel that day. Cause some days I'll write, I'll be like, okay, I have a little bit of energy, I have a little bit of motivation, so I'll write and it'll be like maybe a page or so. And then other days I'm like really passionate and really like in that like headspace and I'm writing like 10 pages or like more or like whatever or 1,000 like more than 10,000 words or whatever. I don't know. So I try not to like set like goals in that sense of like, oh, I need to reach this page amount or this word amount per day because it's like I feel like that's too limiting for me. Like it puts me in a box and I don't want to be in a box. So I don't I'm not I'm not there. I'm not doing that to myself, putting myself limiting myself. But guys, those are really great questions. Like honestly, like I love these questions. They're very interesting. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions, or maybe if you're new and you just like wanna ask me something, you could always write it in the comments or DM me directly on Instagram at writer Louisa Norman 927. You could always do that. Like it's really interesting to see where you guys like are at when asking these questions. They're really good questions. I really enjoyed answering them today. So I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, bye.